Hello and welcome to the first game of the Spellforce 3 Team League with Team VFish versus TeamHenry. I hope I'm getting this right. I believe Civi is Team VFish representing those boys with the yellow elves, which is lovely to see, versus Nighthunter representing TeamHenry and the white orcs. And this is the new patch. New patch means new metas. New patch means different build orders, as well as everything being a bit confusing. So I do wonder if we're gonna see any adjustments yet. For the moment, we have like the full-on old school build. No stone added quite as of yet, which I'm quite surprising. Since he doesn't need it in the beginning, I think. But the war pit will cost him stone as well as farms from now on. So that's interesting. But the war pit definitely went down in the cost decrease. I'll try to remember the patch notes as I go along and inform you of all the differences. Some general stuff is repair rates across the boards have been adjusted, so it's now a flat 50 per second, except for trolls, which is something along the board of 60 per second, maybe even 61. It's a weird number, I think. As well as you get upgrades for every every time every tier of upgrade you get I think 25 per second more. And I'm still on the German version. Apologies for all the English native speakers. I keep forgetting to switch that back. But let's check out what the boys are up to. We've got, there we go, Nighthunter with the lacerating strikes, Demonic Pact and Blood Confluence, as well as Blood Sacrifice and Brute Force. So he might be scared of the Guardian Wolf Harass that Cheese was so potent in. Let's see if Civi has a similar plan. We do still have the double hunting, so it looks like we're still going Guardian Rush. Keep in mind, Guardians now have 10 strike damage less per attack. What exactly that is in DPS, I can't quite calculate. But it's a decent decrease in power. And I believe for the orcs, the tier 1 outposts now repair faster. I want to say that's true. I'm still a bit confused about that, but we'll see how quick they go down. Let's see if the Guardian Rush is still as potent as ever. We have seen some nice harassment. Unfortunately, this Pathfinder is a little bit too close for comfort. Kalrak gets it down, so that's one spot of bother down. There we go, 17 damage, strike damage now, but still gets a nice, decent amount of damage on that lumber mill, especially when he's not interrupted, which this boy is on its way to. And Benji asking if I played much on the Be Passionate. No, I haven't at all at the moment. I've been busy the last couple of days, so I couldn't really get onto things. Also wasn't feeling that great, which is why I didn't quite get around to cast all the games that I missed on the Quadra X Cup, which I'm a bit sad about. But that Nume Shaman is pretty cool, you say? And I do love to hear that. He's one of my favorites as well, even before the patch. And with the Totemic Might now, actually buffing his units as well. It should be fairly interesting. Let's see what we can do with him. So far, Nighthunter more than happy to stick to the old guns with the Occultist. See, do we have an adjustment here? For the Ranger, the Barrage got a little bit of a damage nerf, I want to say. As well as the Howl. Oh, still says it applies. Oh no, wait. Yeah, the Material Sacrifice doesn't apply weakened on level 2 anymore. So that got nerfed in terms of AoE. And it also doesn't reset cooldown on our little wolf boy. Up to 6 Guardians now. Let's see what the Nighthunter's counter is at the moment. Well, we're up to 12 Scoundrels, so pretty much exact amount of boys built. First little attack is up and running here. Gets a nice amount of workers here. They haven't been belled. Lumber mill might go down. But the big question is, will the Occultist now teleport back, or is he just happy to let that go down and keep expanding? I have heard that there might be a bug now that repairing these buildings now with the increased repair rate might soak up more resources than they are worth building. So we have to keep an eye on that. Unfortunately, some goblins just get thrown away here. Callous disregard of goblin lives. Always feels bad, man.
Gebäude fertiggestellt.
And also I have good low supply outpost, lower supply from the outpost. That's actually very true. I think I got nerfed quite heavily. That is a very good point. Let's see. Civi at the moment still has plenty of supply to spare. There we go. Stonecutter goes down. Speaking of which, we do not have the war pit out yet. And the wood harass definitely has hurt him so far. So he's trying to level up here. I heard that demonic pact, like, it got its damage nerfed by 50%. But it also got a cooldown reduction, which is very interesting because now you can just spam it more onto the enemy flags than even before the patch. It's definitely interesting.
Unsere Arbeiter werden angegriffen.
A lot of these boys are low. Nice, really synchronized stunnage there. Gets knocked back as soon as he pulls the boys in. So some synchronized diving there.
Unser Haupthaus wird
quite impressive. Let's try to keep the boy a bit silent there. I don't think it reset my audio settings, but it feels louder again. But no music for some reason. But Civi not too hot on the single unit micro. So he does lose a couple Guardians here and there. Which are pretty... I think they're still the same price as before the patch. So those are not insignificant losses. And the economy is still potent. It's just not... maybe not as crazy anymore. We don't know. We don't have to see. Yeah, let's see. Let's quickly check his economy. So you have double growth. Looks like the second one might not be completely finished. Oh no, it is. Just not producing. But he's still trying the old... War Guardian, damn it! I was about to say the Ranger spam, but the Ranger is the girl here. Ooh, these goblins are so low. So this is quite a bloodbath here. Some Dark Elf in the distance is snickering and laughing at all these souls to collect very soonish. Unfortunately, no Dark Elf around there, but oh, that was a lot of dead goblins here. Disgusting! Level 3 versus level 4. So far Nighthunter hasn't really been able to take advantage of it. Both of them haven't spent their money yet. Let's see. Kalrak is coming up pretty late, the Risen Kalrak. So we're already at 748. So not as quick as we're used to. Usually at this point you already see the Hunter tech. We also have not the War Pit not built yet. Another change in this pet, the tech uptime, as long as you have all the resources, has been reduced across the board by 1/3. Also, orcs now produce just as fast from their main as from the outposts. To give them a little bit more character. Nice pull there. Didn't get too much damage done though. It's getting it. Like the game's weirdly laggy, but it almost seemed smooth. It's kind of weird there. We're gonna pause for a couple seconds just to get it back up in FPS. Because the purists among you, they probably are screaming at me already. Check when Elf tier 2 when you can watch after the fight. It's important. We still have the lower sanctum up. And looks like for so far we have really not seen any of it. We're committing here. Full on Guardian rush. Classic stuff, classic stuff. Maybe he just wants to test it. If it's still viable. Speaking of the population, but it's definitely noticeable. We're only up to 60 pop on these 4 early sectors there. Ooh, some fancy fire bombage coming in. Notice the cooldown now on the fire orb. Has a 3-second cooldown across all orbs now, because earlier it's more of a bug fix really. Because earlier they had no cooldown at all, so you could just always spam them, and that's some nice stuff here. Good. Oh, Civi's gonna throw away lots of Guardians here just to get the cultist low. He is out of healing potions now, but he might lose a lot of Guardians here. The only thing he could have done here is switch to ranged and finish him off. But nice snipe there. So it wasn't the only thing he could have done. I wasn't neglecting the hero here. Ooh, nasty barrage, but they're all pretty full health. And some nice scoundrel flankage. Unfortunately, they seem to be rallied away again instead of finishing the job. Let's quickly check Nighthunter. So we do have the war pit. They have added a 5 wood cost now to all of these upgrades here for orcs. So it slows them down a little bit further as well. Which we are currently seeing here since the Blood of the Horde. It's 10.5 minutes in. Keep in mind, this is very early games in this matter, so the timings will probably improve going forward. But compared to before the patch, it is definitely slowed down for the time being. We can check Civi's tech choices here. Lower Sanctum still up. We're now adding farms since we're slowly running out of food in the main. We're gonna quickly pause here. I'm on the wrong boy. So we're still on double groves versus Nighthunter
Gebäude fertiggestellt.
on a decent amount of outposts. We are running, right? Yeah.
Wir werden
like we weren't.
angegriffen.
40, up to 20 Guardians. They still chunk this outpost up quite nice and quick. But we also have not seen a teleport back to prevent it. But it is a decent play because this here is the iron sector. If we can defend this now, slash the upper one,
Wir werden angegriffen.
that might put him might have played around just giving up this low value sector versus the high value sector, especially against elves. Elves love their iron units.
Wir werden angegriffen.
Good old classic floater bit here, but he's giving up this one as well. The Godstone one, I wouldn't give up quite that easily, I think.
Verdammt, wir haben einen
Because at
Sektor
this rate, he's just
verloren.
gonna run after him. But he does get this back, and the scouting post
Wir
is up.
werden angegriffen.
So this Guardian being rallied onto it is gonna die eventually. And this is a fortified outpost. So that should have... I would really love if it would tell you here how much it repairs per second.
Wir können keine weiteren
Let's see if the
Truppen
repair...
unterbringen.
There we go, there
Wir
comes
müssen
the
unsere
repair in.
Außenposten vergrößern.
So the good old Guardians are still pretty decent at their job. But keep in mind they've been doing this pretty uncontested so far. And the teleport was very late, so he couldn't get units in between him and the outpost. So that's a pretty big loss there. Another nice firebomb, but only doesn't seem to clip actually that much. But that's a lot of scoundrels now. We're down to 18 Guardians versus Nighthunter's 40 scoundrels and 4 hunters. After this engagement, that's pretty much the Elven army almost wiped. 96 pop cap versus 22. Lower Sanctum is just coming up at 13 minutes, very late. These are not preemptively upgraded for... There we go, now we're seeing it, but all of this is going to go into the hunting cabin, etc. So the iron is going to be pretty late. We do not have the big iron sectors. This is looking pretty rough here for Civi at the moment. We do have level 5 though, which gives him the bullseye, which still makes a silence here for 5 seconds and impair.
Gebäude fertiggestellt.
Mostly cooldown and brute force, but I don't think we have not seen any armor. In fact, not any amount of resources spent here. But Nighthunter really just... It feels like he doesn't want to get baited into a teleport, but at this stage he's almost always losing a lot by not teleporting. So it's always a bit of a conundrum. I can definitely see where he's coming from. But maybe he just needs to go on the offensive himself. Put some pressure on him. Oh, is Nighthunter still on the... We're seeing some Walk Riders here. Have not been upgraded, speaking of upgrades.
Gebäude fertiggestellt.
No strength in numbers, which has not changed in cost or anything. Yeah, most of the upgrades here are the same. But 120 pop cap versus Civi's 32. It's looking pretty grimdark here. We're lagging again a bit. 3 groves now. We have no tech building yet. But the Sanctum is finished. There we go. Let's hit it again. And slowly but surely Civi is going to run out of options. Oh, that's a lovely pull. That is a disgusting pull. Still as good as ever. Oh, the cleave! The disgusting cleave. Occult is still putting in the works here. But at this point, it just seems Civi was counting on the economy nerf to hit harder than it did.
Wir werden angegriffen.
And now he's found himself in a position where he can't transition fast enough without the correct territories to get his tier 2 army rolling. Oh, but these boys also seem to be lagging pretty hard. We're already caught up again, which is a bit of a shame. Hearts of Guardian at some point, and that's about it. Yeah, pretty much. Fit down to 15 now. Alright, let's hit it again. 43 Gorbos, 11 Hunters. So the nice thing about... I think we had the damage nerfed a little bit. As well as the big thing is... They have no strike resistance anymore. It's down from 25. So especially against Guardians, if you can get them on top of these boys, they'll do, even with a damage nerf, etc., still do a lot more damage now to these boyos here. So it's much easier to counter them in theory, at least. We'll see how it plays out. Excuse my hiccups here. I literally have them. Oh god, the Iron Mine's gonna get denied. We do see a teleport in here. Is he gonna micro them on top of the Hunters? Oh no! Nice pull. The Ranger looks like she has a level 2 armor. Down she goes. Oh, she actually has level 3 armor. And the GG. Oh, Nighthunter with the aggressive GG. Seeing a little bit of BM coming in with a new meta. But it looks like Civi is in agreement. Throws in a towel, and GG, well played to both of them. It was indeed an offensive. GG. And Cheese with a big insight. With the no longer gives 20%, but the level 2 Elven Outpost gives you 5% better. So it's a slight nerf, but a huge nerf for the Guardian spam. He didn't even... I don't think he actually hit Pop Cap here. Since it was one of the maps where you can usually get some decent territory as Elf. But he didn't seem to... Like he... I don't know. Like his food economy wasn't where it needed. Was he floating at all? Let's check. And thank you very much, Nighthunter, for the raid as well. Welcome, everybody, to the Teamleague tournament. Team VFish versus TeamHenry. The good old VM offensive GG connoisseur coming in. Alright, let's quickly check out the Discord. If they're probably way faster than I am. If the second game is already up. Okay, looks like we're finally caught up. So that's pretty good. But yeah, GG for the first one. Second one coming up.